Tom Lee says actually most of the DATs will actually fail. And maybe Bitmine will be one of the only winners out there that will be persisting besides MicroStrategy. Why that is? Well, that I will tell you in the video, so let's dive in.
Welcome to the game, I'm the wolf of Dubai.
If you never watched the video of mine, if you are watching the video here for the very first time, my name is Danny and I'm looking for stocks that can absolutely explode, okay? So I did this with Tesla and other stocks, and my subscribers bought even houses and apartments. So if this is interesting, make sure to subscribe to my free content here out there where we talk about these companies. And also, if you want us to trade for you all automatically with our AutoPilot software, then check out xnDayTrading.com and schedule a call with me personally, and we see if we can help you as well. Because if we can, then we absolutely will trade for you. We started the week off absolutely insane with another banger on Robinhood trade, and we are actually looking forward to create about like 8 to 15% increase in your portfolio every single month. So if you start with $10,000, you should somewhere be around like $58,000. Obviously, that's all done for you. So we select the trades, we buy them, we sell them all into your portfolio. So if you have $10,000 and you want to start, then check out xnDayTrading.com and I see you inside. Now, when I watch all the content of Tom Lee, I always try and I hope before I watch something, I say like, please give us some new information. I want to have something new because I want to have another angle that I can work on and understand and, buy more Bitmine, right? Like yesterday, I bought $10,000 more of Bitmine calls and options. I buy between like $3,000 to $20,000 every single day. So I want to understand the company in and out perfectly, okay? So if you understand a company that well, then there's not often opportunities to hear something new. But here comes Tom Lee in an interview that said the following, which was very interesting.
DAT implosion that might be on the horizon. Following so shortly, the DAT Cambrian explosion might turn off new flows or people from the market.
Frank, that's a really good question. I think that there's still unwritten chapters to the DATs, right? Because there's all these DATs trading below NAV. And if they have a staking business, then in theory, they probably can survive, because if they've raised money and they have 3% yield, or if it's Solana, 7%, in theory, it's a viable entity as long as they didn't take on debt. They will still have this problem of their stock price being stuck in the mud. And there is several ways to solve that in the future. One is the company itself is now essentially a closed-end fund trading at a discount, right? So what can they do? One, they can actually become an investment company and turn into an ETF, and then they go back to par. They can begin to, if they're a staking entity, they could pay out their staking yield, and they'd be a yield-bearing instrument. They can sell their crypto holdings, and some have done that, and distribute the cash. But they have to distribute the cash. If they're going to sell their crypto holdings and just sell it cash, then they're just misallocating capital. There's a signal, I think, if something's trading at a big discount to NAV, because it shows you the market doesn't believe that management team can allocate capital. So then the last option, of course, is that they should be consolidated away. But that takes time, because as you said, it's only been a few months. Most people have unrealistic expectations. They always say the problem with M&A isn't the buyer's willingness, it's the seller's price. So, if someone's trading at 0.7 MNAV and they want to get NAV, that's a 50% premium to the buyer. The buyer, there's a pretty high bar for someone to be willing to pay NAV for something at 0.7 times NAV. So it's going to be, it's a process there. But should that really hurt crypto? At the end of the day, there is a lot of reflexivity in crypto, but the DATs aren't really what's creating the building, and that's not really what's driving, for instance, what's happening on blockchains and stable coins and real world assets. That none of that really has to do with DATs, unless the DAT itself is funding specific projects. And on the Bitcoin DATs, I I think that they had a theory that everybody would own a little bit of Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And I don't think that I don't think that's wrong. But I think that DATs that were small and subscale saying that because they own Bitcoin on the balance sheet, they should be more valuable than another company that owns Bitcoin on the balance sheet. That's probably where the market is just repricing everything. And they might even be pricing whatever that DAT owns as an operating business as a liability. And that's why they're trading below NAV.
One other option they have, right, is the ability, thinking about new flows, for instance, potentially in-kind contributions could be another avenue for them to take to raise more capital for people that are maybe sitting on ETH, Bitcoin, or whatever have you. I wonder, what do you think, what does the M&A cycle of this look like? What should we expect?
Yeah. Well, it's a good question. First of all, what a DAT has to be aware of situationally, and that the people running the DAT, they're actually a public company. And public companies need to attract institutional investors. They can't just rely on retail investors or memeing it. And as you know, a lot of DATs were full of memes and kind of like, trying to make noise. But that's not what will attract an institution to take a big stake in your company. In order to have equity investors back your business, you have to have clearly articulated strategy. You need to have liquidity, it's kind of chicken and egg. And you have to have credibility. But the equity investors are going to choose to support the scale DATs. And I think that they're actually, as you saw, even in this downturn, look at the 13 net filings. There have been many buyers of DATs in size because, and as you even said, like with in-kind contributions, so it's a 351. Let's say someone wants to put more Solana or Ethereum into a DAT. They're going to be much wiser to say, if I'm going to put my crypto into a DAT, I want to make sure that holding is then gobbled up by an equity investor. Because if it's just throwing it into a discounted price thing, that's what they call throwing good money into bad, right? I would never say, let's buy the 10th best AI stock trading at a discount, and because it's cheaper, I'm going to throw more money into it. It's always better to invest in the strongest company in the strongest space. So I think that in next year, I don't think that a well-run DAT should trade at a discount to NAV. So there are probably some good ones out there that shouldn't be gut punched the way they are. But the equity investor doesn't buy the 10th best company. They tend to buy the strongest company in the strongest space. And that's what creates winners and losers. Look at, the equity market, like treat DATs like country indices. People have been buying the US for a long time until the rest of the world got so cheap that they bought the rest of the world for 1 or 2 years. But at the end of the day, you really are better off buying the strongest company.
So as you can see, he's telling us that most of the DAT companies will end as an experiment. In his latest chairman's message presentation from Bitmine, he actually said that the 92% of all DATs, so all treasury companies, are actually MicroStrategy and Bitmine. 82%. The rest is basically nothing. Okay, so like SBET, Izilla, they don't even have the money, the opportunity to raise more cash to go behind so much Ethereum like Bitmine does. Okay, so that's quite interesting because that shows you that we are just a couple of months and then we reach already the goal of 5% of Ethereum. And then we know already that he wants to go even higher. But he actually wants to say the following. I think between the lines, he wants to say that people, investors, institutions go for the winner. And there's not much attention to all the other things. So they will do everything that Bitmine will be a huge winner. And I think that there will be so much innovation, so much revolution in the business model of Bitmine that in 5 years, most probably we will think, well, I have never thought that we can make so much money from this new service or product for Bitmine. Okay. And businesses changes, guys. Okay. Like Facebook went from website to mobile to social media giant. Okay. Meanwhile, they have Instagram, Facebook, and WhatsApp as the main drivers, right? And they're going into AI. So businesses are always changing. Apple went from computer to iPod to iPhone, right? So you can see that there's lot of changes that companies does, and this is totally normal. And I think that Bitmine, because of that mindset and innovation at heart of the DNA of the company, will be one of the most successful companies out there, and they will be a winner no matter what. So if you like that, make sure to let me know in the comments what you think about exactly that approach of thinking about Bitmine and other companies. Also, make sure to subscribe and check out my next video tomorrow, because I'm doing videos every single day and I want to make sure that you are always up to date. And check out excellentdaytrading.com if you want us to trade for you.